I'm about to turn up in this bitch in a minute. I want to talk about the Department of Justice report from Baltimore because it is extremely troubling. Um, it is, well, I'll read some of it to you. I'll give you the gist of it. But I'm trying to think whose picture I want to put on the screen first. Actually, I'm going to put the current mayor, Stephanie Rawlings Blake. I'm going to put her picture on my screen. Beautiful woman. Beautiful, very important person and accomplished. Has done a lot of amazing things in Baltimore. But I want to put her picture on the screen as I read to you the different things that the Department of Justice found in Baltimore. So let me just give you a snapshot of the Department of Justice report. I believe it was a 14-month long report. And one good line that came from MSNBC was that it took them 14 months to put in writing, to research, and to get analytics and to get data. It took them 14 months to say what black people have known all their lives. According to NPR, this is a particular quote from NPR, they say, to be clear, the Department of Justice report emphasizes that this is not a case of a bad few apples. The problems in Baltimore are systemic. Supervisors, policies, weak investigations, and officer culture all play a role, according to the Department of Justice. So the report from the Department of Justice is a scathing report on Baltimore cops that vindicates, quote unquote, vindicates what black residents have been saying for a very long time. And I want to read you some of the findings. Of 410 people stopped at least 10 times between 2010 and 2015. Out of 410, 95% were black. During that time, no one of any other race was stopped more than 12 times. It found that officers made a large number of stops, mostly in poor black neighborhoods, with dubious justifications and unlawfully arrested citizens when officers did not like what those individuals said. Quote, did not like what those individuals said. Among other findings, blacks account for 60% of the city of Baltimore's population, but roughly 84% of all of the police stops. So between 2010 and 2015, officers stopped 34 particular black residents 20 times, and 7 black residents were stopped 30 times or more. And in some cases, those stops never led to any citation or any arrest. In addition to pat downs, Baltimore officers perform unconstitutional strip searches, even of people not under arrest. The report said that officers routinely use unreasonable force, including against juveniles and people who were not considered dangerous. The summary is that the Baltimore police engaged in illegal, racially based policing. I want to dig in a little deeper with some stories. I'm going to put the stories on your screen. Here's one such story. Arrested for wearing a sweatshirt in a high crime area. Such unlawful stops erode public confidence in law enforcement and escalate street encounters, sometimes resulting in officers deploying unnecessary force or committing additional constitutional violations. For example, on a cold January evening in 2013, an officer approached and questioned an African-American man crossing the street in a high crime area while wearing a hooded sweatshirt. The officer lacked any specific reason to believe the man was engaged in criminal activity, but according to the incident report prepared by the supervisory officer on the scene, the officer thought it could be possible that the individual could be out seeking a victim of opportunity. This unsupported speculation furnishes no basis to conduct a stop. Nonetheless, multiple officers questioned the man and seized a kitchen knife that the man acknowledged carrying. And I still have the mayor, Stephanie Blake Rawlings. I'm sorry. Hang on. Which is it? It is one of them. the mayor on the screen because she's been the mayor since 2010. Let me read the next story of what happened. Actually, this one unfortunately is cut off, so I have to go to this one. Then make something up. In some cases, unconstitutional stops result in supervisory officers' explicit instructions ordering a ride-along with Justice Department's officials. A BPD sergeant instructed a patrol officer to, and hang on, that is actually, I can't see it myself, to stop a group of young African-American males on a street corner, question them, and order them to disperse. When the patrol officers protested that he had no valid reason to stop the group, the sergeant replied, "Then make something up." Okay, let's keep going because the story is getting more and more atrocious. Well, we talked about the strip search. I wish I can get, hang on, let me see one more. All right, we'll stop there. Yeah. Here's the last one I want to mention. And I want you to listen to the mentality. Lock up all the black hoodies, a commander once ordered. Another officer wrote on Facebook, "Do not treat criminals like citizens." And this particular one is according to NPR. This particular anecdote is from NPR. Then there was a template, not an anecdote, but this account is from NPR. There was a template supplied by a shift commander to a sergeant and a patrol officer for reporting the arrest of someone for standing near a public housing unit without a valid reason. Let me repeat. They had a template supplied by a shift commander to a sergeant and a patrol officer for reporting the arrest of someone for standing near a public housing unit without a valid reason. So in other words, they were stopping people for standing outside of the projects for what the hell is a valid reason for standing? Please tell me, what is a valid reason to stand? Can I stand outside because it's more comfortable for me to stand instead of sit down? Is that a valid reason? Can I stand outside because it's a beautiful fucking day outside? Is that a valid reason? Can I stand outside because it's the place where I damn it live? Is that a valid reason? But they stop people so frequently for this that they had to make up a fucking template. They had to make up a template because they did it so goddamn often. Do you know how fucking lazy you have to be to break the law and not even want to longhand write it out, but need a fucking template? This is the type of shit that we face every day, and we've known this for a long time. We've been saying this for a long time, but people look at us like, oh, you're just making shit up. And so we have to wait for Freddie Gray to be killed. We had to wait for Freddie Gray to be killed, and then the Department of Justice. Hello, Department of Justice. How about now that you see a pattern emerging between the similar practices in Ferguson and the practices in Baltimore, how about you do the smart thing and go check out all of these other communities that we've been fucking telling you this about a long time? I'd have met my quota for a week on F-bombs. I'm sorry. But for the love of God, how many times do we have to say this is happening, say this is real? How many people have to die for you to have a reaction and then go investigate when you're fully capable of being proactive and going to investigate? What is a valid reason to stand outside? Can I stand outside and sit on the dock of the bay and watch the ships roll in? Can I do that? Is that valid? Do I have to have a license to stand outside of a housing project? So entrenched in the system that they had a template for this. I have a template for the work that I do on my job. And you know, I finally started using the template because I said to myself, self, why am I going through creating this every single time? Why am I doing this every single time? I'm giving a custom experience to every single one of my customers every single time. Why am I working so hard? So I went the easy route and click and paste, and I have a template, just fill it in, boom, boom, boom. So all I have to do now, all you have to do now to arrest somebody, you see somebody standing outside, you don't really have any valid reason to arrest them, but you conclude that they don't have a valid reason to stand out there. So all you do is copy and paste. They are copying and pasting their profiling of black people.